It's time to figure out who makes the best budget wide toe box work boot. Rockrooster being the Chinese brand that makes some of the highest quality boots under $100. The other being a new brand that we've never seen before, Nortiv8, I think is how it's said, that was heavily requested by you guys, and it's only $60. So we're gonna cut both these in half and run through our test to really figure out, for part of the wide toe box series, can you actually get a good wide toe box work boot for under $100? Are the Nortiv8s basically just Walmart boots? Has Rockrooster continued to improve their boots like we've seen in some of them, or have they slowly fallen off and just gotten cheaper and cheaper? Are these actually wide toe box boots, or is it just marketing? And who makes the best budget wide toe box work boot under $100? So who are the contenders? Well, we got the Nortiv8. The style is the men's steel toe work boots, perfectly optimized for SEO. They weigh 1 pound 9 ounces, so pretty light. They retail for $63. Made in China, surprise, surprise. And the way they position this is the steel toe leather work boot have it all. Protective toe cap and flexible insole and multi-directional traction, NDT. Genuine crazy horse leather that keeps you comfortable while creating an excellent support system for quick and sudden movements. Because that's what you do at work. The next contender is the Rockrooster. The style is the Roberta men's wedge work boot, safety water resistant leather boot, ASTM 2892 AP615. They weigh 1 pound 12 ounces. They retail for $99. They're made in China as well, and they don't really position it, but they say they have a soft toe and a steel toe version. They say it's a full grain tumbled leather, we'll see. And they say it's a triple E width. And if you want either of these, check them out via links in my description. And since this is the wide toe box series, we're gonna rank each of these boots from 1 to 10 on durability, comfort, width, casual to heavy, look, and overall value. And we're gonna rank each of these as we go along so you can follow along with the series so we can really figure out not just who makes the best, but which one's the best for you given what you need a boot for. So let's start with the durability first, and a lot of that comes down to the leather because that's one of the first places that boots fail. The Nortiv8s have a 1.9 millimeter thick leather, so it's a little bit on the thinner side for work boots, and it's actually pretty decent leather. It's really heavily conditioned. There's a lot of wax and oils worked into it, which is perfect for a work boot, so you don't have to condition it. They'd last longer, and it clearly is a real nubuck. You look at the cross section, there's plenty of that grain left in there that gives all those loose suede fibers the structure to not completely fall apart. You look at the Rockroosters, they're 2.1 millimeters thick. They say it's a full grain tumbled leather. You look at the cross section, it's probably not. It clearly has some sort of painted or pigmented layer on top, and a lot of times they do that is to hide the imperfections underneath or the nubuck that's caused by sanding it down. One of the most common mistakes every single brand makes. But to see how they perform, we did the puncture tests, and the Nortiv8's punctured through at 128, the Rockrooster at 108. And so honestly, the better leather is the $60 Nortiv8s. And for all these tests and all like the rankings as we go along, there's gonna be a running tally so that each week you go on, you can see how it compares to the previous weeks. But leather's not the only thing that makes a boot durable. The way that it's built almost matters more because that's where a lot of boots fail really quick, and especially in more affordable work boots like the Nortiv8s, this is a cemented construction. So they take the outsole and midsole and it's just glued to the upper, which is the most affordable, but also the most failure prone way of making a boot because it's literally just glue holding it together. The Rockroosters, on the other hand, are a 360 Goodyear welt, at least what it looks from the outside and what they say on their website. And it is a cheaper Goodyear welt because it's got a plastic welt rather than the leather that's really flexible and durable. But it's way more durable than just having something glued together, if it is actually a Goodyear welt. So what would I score these initially with the construction and the leather combined? Initially, I'd say the Nortiv8s are a solid 6 and the Rockrooster is probably a 5. But what about comfort? Because to me, that's an important thing for this because it's the wide toe box series. A lot of people are getting these because they want that comfort of a wide toe box. And to me, that's centered more around the lining, the insole, the width, and the midsole. And looking at the Nortiv8, it's just a typical fabric lining, nothing special. There's no internal heel counter, and so that's that high wear spot that you'll probably wear through first on the inside. The Rockrooster's completely unlined in the quarters, but has that moisture wicking chevron fabric you see in a lot of boots in the toe, which I actually like that combination. You know, it gives you some moisture wicking plus the breathability and flexibility of not having a lining in the upper. What about the insoles? Nortiv8 is just really cheap insole, open cell foam. Rockrooster has their classic mattress. This thing is too much. I don't like this insole because it's like, how thick is it? At the heel, it's like 3/4 of an inch thick at the heel. And it's so thick and so squishy, it almost doesn't give your foot enough structure, and so you kind of feel like you're walking around in quicksand all day. And so I don't like either of these insoles, but I think this one's probably a little bit better. And we did the ball drop test. The Nortiv8's bounced up 12 inches, the Rockrooster bounced up 7, so you could say that the Rockrooster absorbed more of the shock and the Nortiv8's more responsive. But both are cheap and replaceable, so you can put whatever you wanted in there. But one thing that really bugs me about these boots is they're advertised as wide boots, and so we pull out the insoles to compare all these various boots and shoes that we're doing in this series. And do these look wide at all to you? Well, not to me. They look exactly like every other work boot. So all you that were saying the Nortiv8s are super wide, no they're not. Comparing all these wide toe boxes, we almost have to start building some categories. So for right now, my categories that I roughly put things into, at the most normal, you just go to like a wide toe box. Then to a semi-anatomical where you start straightening out that big toe and give you a little bit more room. Then to anatomical where you've really got more anatomical shape that starts to look more like a duck foot. And then your true barefoot that is just a walking billboard of width. Those are the 4 categories I kind of slide them in. It's a spectrum and people are gonna disagree, but that's what we're going with for now. And both of these would just barely fit into the wide toe box category. So not great comfort points right off the bat, but what about the midsoles? Well, the Nortiv8s are a classic foam midsole. Like I said, it was all glued together. It's a really soft foam at 20 Shore A. So it is gonna be really squishy, but you're gonna lose a lot of that durability from a harder foam. The Rockroosters, we don't really know what's on the inside. We'll see when we get it cut in half. So the initial comfort ranking, I'd go Nortiv8, 7 for now. I feel like it's a little generous, and then Rockrooster, I'm gonna go 6. Well, let's look at the outsole and the puncture tests. And the outsoles on these, the Nortiv8's rubber outsole, and it's self-branded, so you have no idea what's going on the inside. It could just be an open, like we see in some Amazon and Walmart boots where there's just voids throughout it. But it seems like it's pretty decent. It's not the hardest outsole, but it's not super soft. It comes at a 60 Shore A. Softer outsoles are more like your Rockroosters, where this is a Vibram outsole, and this comes at like a 35 Shore A. And this is what you usually see in a wedge sole, and you can see how much more material you have to wear down and how you can get away with a softer material by adding more material. But to test these, we did the bar drop test. The Nortiv8s bounced up 5 inches, the Rockroosters bounced up 7. Puncture test was pretty interesting. The Nortiv8s punctured through at 67 pounds, which is not very much, and the Rockroosters took 103. So ranking it from casual to heavy duty work, I would say the Nortiv8s are probably like a 4. The Rockroosters, but I'm gonna start off at a 5 and see where we end up. But we haven't seen what's on the inside, so let's cut these apart, give it the full ranking, and really see what corners were cut to get these to under $100 for work boots. This is all of our boot accessories that we've slowly developed over the last 4 years as we've done more and more boot reviews and realized how many things are missing in the market. So be sure to check out all these below. They make great gifts, self-gifts, and it's a huge way that you can help support the channel, so check them out below. All right, we got them cut in half, and if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that subscribe button, because I'm gonna start trying to do more of these versus videos, but they literally double the price of the videos. So any help you can give, subscribe, like, share these videos, is how we can afford to keep doing this over and over. So now, let's see what's inside. So the Nortiv8's a little sloppy on the inside. The lining's kind of sloppy, nothing's really glued together very well. The plastic shank on the inside might as well not be a shank because it doesn't actually support anything. But the outsole is solid all the way through. It's not hollow like I expected. For 60 bucks, the outsole's not bad at all. Compared to the Rockroosters, this is more of their cheap styles of construction. There's not the cork, it's just a layer of loose foam. The lasting board is not your higher quality pink Texan style, it's just a cheaper stuff that's a little more prone to delamination. And similar thing, everything's just kind of loose and floppy on the inside. The steel shank is already kind of disfigured, and it might as well not be in there, you know? But at least it's a true Goodyear welt. And honestly, to me, now this is cut in half, this is just a clear knockoff of that Georgia wedge sole work boot. But Georgia does it so much better for just like $10 more. So just that alone, I don't like when Chinese brands knock off even American-owned companies, especially when it's pretty garbage on the inside. So final rankings, Nortiv8 durability, I'm gonna go 4. Comfort, I'm gonna go 5. Width, 2. Casual to heavy, 2. Look, 2. Value, I'm gonna say 7 because it is a good value for 60 bucks. Rockrooster's durability, after seeing the inside, I'm gonna go 3. Comfort, 4. Width, 2. Casual to heavy, 3. Look, 0. You don't get any points for copying other people's designs. That's bullshit. Value, it's not as good as I expected, so I'm gonna give it a 4. So, kind of disappointing from the Rockroosters, but now that we've cut a couple of these in half, we're gonna re-rank the carrots since we literally had nothing to compare it to. So here's the carrot re-ranking, and we're gonna slightly adjust these as we go along as we have more context. So ultimately, can you get a good boot for under 100 bucks? Not really. It's worth spending the extra $50 to $75 to get something that's gonna last 2 to 3 times as long. Are the Nortiv8s just Walmart boots? Kinda, but they are leather, so that's better than most of the Walmart boots. Has Rockrooster continued to make better boots? No, it's pretty terrible. Are they actually wide or just marketing? Clearly just marketing. So final verdict, should you buy either of these? You know, the Nortiv8's not bad for the price, but no matter what, you're taking a gamble on a $60 boot because you just don't have the bandwidth and the margins to actually make a high quality boot and still make money. And so there's corners cut all over the place. And so unless you absolutely have to buy a $60 boot and you can't find any used ones, there is a case to be made, but be careful. I would not trust these. Rockroosters, they're really garbage compared to the originals and it's a knockoff. So I'd avoid both, to be honest, because they're not even that wide and like everything's kind of off about them. But if you're in a pinch, you got a couple options. So let me know what you think. Let me know what other ones you want us to cut apart and get ready for the next comparisons. And thank you guys for all your support. See ya. You want a white toe box boot? Because I've got 2 for you to look at right here.